Hey, welcome back to Evil's Comics. I'm Evil Mike, and I got a review for you today. We're going to be talking about from Image Comics, Jeff Lemire's FishFlies, the free comic book day preview edition. It is written, drawn, everything by Jeff Lemire's, and then we got letters by Steve Wands. This dropped this past Saturday for Free Comic Book Day 2023. It was one of the books that I was highly looking forward to. I had 3 on my list, 2 DC and then this book. I was able to grab a couple more, but I was happy to grab this. I was super curious about this one. I had seen a couple different interviews with Jeff, and he was talking about taking a break from his, I forget what it's called, the Black Mythos series that he's doing with Image. And this was something that was closer to his heart or something like that, so it sounded interesting. So let's get into the review. Before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hit the bell. It's all free, doesn't cost you anything. Repetition, I gotta keep saying that. So the book, it basically starts out, and it's with these 3 boys, and they're walking to a convenience store. It looks late at night, but for the most part the book is black and white. There is color, but I mean, as you can see, it's very dark color, but it might be late at night. But we got 3 young teenage boys. They're talking about going to get Eskimo pies and popsicles, and they're really talking about money and how it's going to come up. One of the boys was just given $20 from his mom, so one of the other boys asked if he could borrow just $1 out of the $20, which it's agreed upon. It just, he has to pay him back. As they're walking to the store, you can see right here they start coming up to a mass amount of fish flies, which you don't know. If you don't know, they look like this right here. They're, I don't know if they're everywhere in America, but we have a ton of them in Houston and Louisiana and Mississippi. And they usually come around, they're a seasonal bug. They kind of come around like springtime, and they're around for 1 week, and they all die around the same time. They even kind of mention that in the book right here with the spread, as the kids see. But this whole park alone, I know it's going to be hard to see. But that's all fish flies. It's not the ground. It's all all those bugs. So now the kids are kind of trying to get to the store. There is a moment where they actually start to walk on the fish flies, because at this point all the fish flies are still alive. They're just kind of chilling on the ground in front of the store. One of the kids does start to walk, and you see the crunch crunch or whatever, and they just get grossed out about it. Eventually it comes to this whole hey, well, I bet you won't walk across them to get to the store or whatever, and it comes up back and forth. But eventually the bet is $20 for one of the kids to walk to the store with no shoes on, which is that's pretty gross, right? But for $20, and these kids, I probably would have done it at that age, probably for less than $20, probably $5 back then. So the kid, he takes off his shoes, and they don't think he's really going to do it, but sure enough, he does start to, walk across the fish flies. Such a weird word to say. And as they show in great detail, there's a lot of crunch. Right here, the book kind of jumps over, and we are brought up with this character. He wakes up in a field. He doesn't know exactly where he is at the moment. He kind of comes to, and they show this panel where we get kind of our first color, and you see he has been shot, and he also has a gun. It kind of looks like he's on the run. He kind of comes to it, and just like that, he does start to, take off in a run. Kind of goes a little bit further, pants, he's out of breath, he's also shot, but as he kind of takes a break, he sees the fish flies just like the boys did, and sure enough, these fish flies start, covering this guy up. He starts freaking out, trying to get the fish flies off of him, but they are definitely swarming this guy. The book jumps back over, and we see that the kid did make it to the store to earn his $20. As he gets here and walks into the store, we see that he is greeted with the character that we just met in the fields, kind of going backwards. There is also this. There's a guy dead on the ground, covered in those fish flies. I There is no blood or anything on the guy, so I'm assuming the fish flies killed him, maybe, you know, because the other guy had a gunshot or whatever. But like I said, he is greeted with this guy that we just saw in the field or whatever, so I'm assuming that's going to be like maybe a moment after this point is what we just saw. But the kid's basically like greeted with this guy. The guy's like, well, you know, what the hell are you doing here? The kid's like, I'm here for popsicles. He's like, you know, he screams again, what the fuck are you doing here? At this point, it kind of gets a little confusing, but the fish flies seem to, like, I mean, this guy in the scene that we saw is being swarmed by the fish flies. I'm assuming this guy, like, maybe either saw this in a vision or something, gets freaked out. This is when he takes off running, and that's where we kind of caught up with him. He ends up running off to this farmhouse, and he's just being swarmed by these fish flies immensely at this moment. He does make it into this farm where he eventually collapses because he is just covered up in these fish flies, and at the very end you see like the crunch. I'm assuming that the fish flies killed him. Now this is where we get to the guy on the cover. We see this guy splashing around in the rain, in this red coat. He is he's shown in the red coat. Now on the cover he had full color, just in here he is, you know, the red and his boots are the only color, and only highlighted over here, not over here. But he does come across some fish flies and stuff. He kind of picks one up, he kind of smiles, and I gotta show you this right here. He does see the barn that we just saw. I'm assuming it was the killer that, you know, or the robber. We don't know if he killed anybody. But just like we saw, you know, the little kid goes in there and the guy is covered up in fish flies, now dead. And that's where this leaves us off with. They do show previews of the real covers to come, a Peach Momoko variant, and I'm assuming that, yeah, that's just the Jeff Lemire variant is the other one. But it does show this crazy, you know, fish fly looking creature, something I was not expecting. When I kind of heard about this book, I didn't know it was going to involve monsters. It kind of looks like this guy can control these fish flies or something like that. Maybe that's why the kids were not harmed by the fish flies, because they weren't doing anything bad or anything, and that's why the guy was, you know, swarmed by the fish flies, because he was robbing the store, and maybe he shot that guy, I don't know. But I am very interested in picking up the real version when it drops. I think it says it drops in June. Let me check real quick. Yeah, it says July 2023 at the top here with the ad. So be on the lookout for that, you know, 2 weeks before July hits. You know, look out for the FOC to add it to your, you know, your pull list if you are so interested with your LCS, whether it's online or at a local shop. I'm going to add it to my list. I'm very interested in it. It was, it had enough in it where I want to see what's coming after this, especially with the kid at the end, and it looks like he can control the fish flies. I'm kind of into that, and the cover kind of hinted that he's got like these weird like army soldier fish flies, you know, like bulk, big, I don't know. But guys, let me know what you thought about Fish Flies, this review, if you didn't get a chance to pick it up, or if you did get a chance to read it. Let me know down below what you thought. I've been kind of on the fence with Jeff Lemire, so you know, it's kind of give or take with me. I've liked some of his stories, but some of the stuff I've read, it's like, it's not that I disliked it, but it's like I could have did without it, kind of thing. But these are my thoughts, these are my reviews. You know, let me know down below what you thought, you know, and if you got a review, let me see it now. Alright guys, I'll let you back.